Please join me in welcoming the class of 2026 valedictorian, Ethan Curtis.
Wow, there's a lot of people here today. Good evening, families, friends, faculty, and students. My name is Ethan Curtis, and I'm honored to speak today as valedictorian for the class of 2026. I've been a SMU student for 13 years, and the class sitting here tonight certainly isn't the one I started with. People arrived from across the city, across the country, across the world, and somewhere along the way, every one of them became one of us. I think back to junior school, to holding hands in a line as we made our way from music class to art, and feeling, even at 5, that as long as I was in that line, I was exactly where I belonged. I think about middle school, about our COVID-stricken homeroom, tag 702, and how, even with everything shut down and kept apart, we still came together to compete in trivia and tag games. And I think about high school, about the outdoor ed trips we took every year, where after just a few days in the wilderness, near strangers turned into some of the first people we'll embrace at alumni weekends for the rest of our lives. Again and again, this place has shown me, and hopefully all of you, that no one here has to find their way alone. There's actually a well-known SMU story that I think captures this sentiment perfectly. So here it is. A few weeks before Alumni Weekend this year, conversation amongst grads was consumed by one topic and one topic alone: gotcha. For the uninitiated, gotcha is one enormous game of tag spread across the entire graduating class. You pay in, you're assigned a target, and to tag them, elimination hinges on who happens to be wearing fewer layers. You can see how that can go wrong. It is, for the record, one of the most sacred traditions among SMU grads. One evening, just as dusk was settling in, one of the boarders here tonight was out hunting with a couple of friends. They were driving around Victoria to find his target, and he wasn't worried. He was in the car, safe, or so he thought. But what he didn't know was that the hunter had become the hunted, and another car had been trailing them. The moment the boarder and his friends parked, the trailing car's door burst open. It was his pursuer, coming for the tag. Fight or flight took over, and the boarder chose flight. He bailed out of the car in nothing but his swim trunks. He ran, and he ran, and he ran until the footsteps chasing behind him faded into silence. When the adrenaline finally settled and he looked around, it was pitch black. Every street looked the same, and there was no one around. Just him, no phone, he left it in the car, almost no clothing thanks to the rules of our beloved game, and creeping in fast, the freezing cold. As he stood there, a thought settled in. If nobody came, he was going to be lost and alone all night. Meanwhile, the gotcha grad chat was melting down. Cars were dispatched, search parties formed, people were leaning out of windows screaming his name into the bleak Victorian night. The lion's share of a graduating class had mobilized in the dark for just one person. 30 minutes passed with radio silence, the grad class picturing this boarder alone and scared. As the gotcha gods were ready to pull the plug, a snap came through the group chat. It was him, back at SMU, alive, intact, and wearing a borrowed set of clothes. By complete chance, a group of SMU alumni were driving that same road back in town for the alumni weekend that was just around the corner. As their headlights swept across the border's exhausted, freezing face, the driver felt a hint of recognition. And then it dawned on him. He knew this kid. The alumni pulled over, got a quick rundown on the evolving lore, and drove him straight back to the campus they had once called their own. No hesitation. To everyone else in that car, he was a complete stranger, a shirtless teen on the side of the road, the kind of person most people would drive right past and stare at, completely bewildered. But that one flicker of recognition was all it took. The border's connection to SMU was the credential that saved him. Those alumni had their own gotcha, and they knew exactly the kind of dreaded Saturday night prep that would have been waiting for him had he not made it back. They had once stood at grad just as this border does here today. I won't name him. Years and graduations apart, the shared SMU experience was enough. The moment they recognized one of their own, they ensured he didn't have to find his way back home alone. The shared experiences that make someone a SMU student are what saved the border that night, and they unite us across generations. The grads here tonight, the alumni who came before us, the ones who will sit in these seats long after, they understand the Vivat we scream before a big game. They understand the feeling when one of Reverend Fletcher's chapel stories reveals something that stays with you on the hungry walk to Sun Center. They understand the way boarders and day students come together, out by the flags playing music, out on the field playing soccer, or packed into Ding Chai on a late night before check-in. And some of our experiences are niche to our class of 2026. So specific, they'd mean nothing to anyone outside this grade, which makes the bond between us even more unique. Things like the Among Us lobbies on the 3rd floor of Crothall, opening your phone to 7 messages from friends, all flagging the same brutal snipe on your SMU. Landing at Tilted Towers, surrounded by the boys in Howards. Grade 10 birdwatching with Mr. Dewar instead of finishing our English essays. Anderson's unexpected return and the notorious house parties that followed. The grueling night at Sombrio together. Watching Kim's progression as a DJ throughout the year. Musica Marites in Spanish class, even the creation of the phrase ultimate credibility. These are just some of the many inside jokes and memories that'll still get us laughing out of nowhere in 10 years. And while I hope for the audience's sake that almost no one out there caught more than just a few of these references, that's exactly the point. They belong to our grad class. They're the memories that'll bring us back to each other long, long after tonight. I can't leave this stage without naming a few people, many of whom have enabled the experiences I just articulated. To the Sun Center staff who kept us fed through every lunchtime conversation that ran right till 12:48, half my best memories here happened over the food you served. Thank you for that. To the grounds, yeah, let's applaud. To the groundskeepers who somehow keep our field green, no matter how much foot abuse it endures season after season, thank you. To the teachers who have inspired us, challenged us, and stuck with us through it all, thank you. As a perfect example of this, thank you to Mr. Edgington and Ms. Carvalho, who helped me write this speech, for the time, the advice, and the patience despite my procrastination. And to my family, my brother, Ryan, somewhere in the crowd, Mom, and Dad, and Nana Barbara, for making every project of mine become a family one. Thank you. Lastly, thank you to my best friend, Ryan Shariati, for supporting me all these years, to Val for being the best campaign manager in the world, and most of all, to Gotham J, whoops, for letting me share his gotcha story in front of everyone here tonight. That night, after running from his chaser, Gotham was lost in the dark, half-dressed, no idea which way was home, with every street looking the same, genuinely unsure what to do. And I think a lot of us in this room feel a quieter version of that same lostness right now. This week, we'll all post photos from grad on our Instagrams, smiling with friends. It may look like we're ready to walk straight into the world, guns a-blazing, but the truth is that a lot of us, myself included, have no idea what we actually want to do, and that is petrifying. Some of you are about to cross continents, and a lot of us, me included, still aren't sure whether the major we picked is the right one, whether the careers we're chasing actually fit the people we've become, or what it all amounts to once the chasing's done. That night, Gotham was lost in the literal sense, much like many of us are today in the figurative. But what's important is that the class mobilized, and his community at SMU eventually saved him. Looking ahead, SMU will always be able to do that same thing for each of us. So feel comfortable, confident, and empowered knowing that you have the ultimate community behind you. And that's what the diploma we've received today represents. Whatever you choose to pursue, you have a whole room full of your #1 fans cheering you on through your peaks, troughs, and in-betweens, ready to pull over the moment you need support. We are SMU 2026. Let's treasure that and let it power us for the rest of our lives. Vivat.